Hello, you lovely computer people, and welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market, where today we're looking at this specimen here, and that is a mischief in the lower screen. He's apparently very itchy. It's flea season. Anyway, its scientific name is Fatsia japonica, and that first name sounds like it should be somewhere in a Yo Mama joke, but it's commonly called Japanese Aralia. It is actually in the Araliaceae family, so it is truly an Aralia. But the name Fatsi itself comes from Japanese in one word, Fatsi, which in anglicized Japanese, I'm assuming y'all can correct me if I mispronounce this, hachi, which means eight. It basically refers to the number of lobes on the leaves when the plant is mature, and this is a young one. It was given to the gardens earlier in the year, and I've grown it out to this size. I'm actually pretty happy with how it's turned out. Now, the japonica part of its name, by the way, I should point out, means of Japan, of course. Now, that ties into that it is native to southern Korea, Japan, and it says Japan to Nansei Shoto. Now, I'm assuming I mispronounced that, so y'all can give me a correct pronunciation in the comments when you have a moment. But anyway, it is hardy in USDA Zone 7B to 10B. It is classified as an evergreen perennial. However, it is one of the few outdoor perennials that are evergreen that also can be a houseplant. And actually, much like devil's ivy, it likes being a houseplant. What a curveball we have today. Its soil pH preference is 6 to 8.0, so basically potting soil if a houseplant would be just fine, but outside maybe give it a tiny bit of lime. It prefers soil with good drainage, decent organic matter. It's adaptable within reason. Its height can be 1 foot, as seen in the specimen, which is a little over a foot, to 19 feet 6 inches, which is awfully specific, but they say that they can get big with age, which, again, I'm 100% okay with. Its width can be 8 inches to 6 feet. Well, mine is about 6-ish, 7 inches, so that fits. Now, it's also known as big leaf paper plant, fig leaf palm, Formosa rice tree, glossy leaved paper plant, Japanese fatsia, and paper plant. Now, where all these paper plant names come from, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it has to do with the flowers, which we'll discuss in a moment. Now, this plant unfortunately is frequently damaged by deer who find it kind of tasty. That's one of the downsides of it. So if you are out by the woods, you might not want to plant this one in your yard. It is tolerant of pollution and salt spray, which means it's good for shady locations near the coast. Also good for urban environments because pollution is, well, you know. But anyway, in terms of cultural care, you should fertilize it regularly during its growing season, which means basically late spring through maybe October-ish. If it's a houseplant, same goes, but you may want to ease off maybe by September and start a little later. The flowers themselves, as I mentioned, are similar in appearance to mature English ivy, which is Hedera helix. In fact, if I hadn't told you what it was, looking at these leaves, you might think it's actually English ivy, but it is most certainly not. But they are closely related. In fact, they are so closely related that they've been crossed. Someone crossed Fatsia and English ivy to produce X. Fats Hedera Lizier, which was crossed in Nantes, France in 1912. So, they're closely related because ivy is actually an Araliaceae, and they're closely related, which is really cool. Though this one has cooler leaves, and as far as I know, is not invasive. It's not English ivy problematic. So you can have your English ivy, not have it creep all over, and I should mention, this plant is upright. So it doesn't crawl all over everything. It doesn't have roots that dig into structures. It's basically everything English ivy can never be, because, English ivy woke up and chose violence. Additionally, some sources indicate, as a benefit for this plant, the new shoots of this plant may be edible, in theory. I do not recommend it because, of course, all sources are not exactly clear on how edible and how safely so, or what method you would use to prepare that. So it's better to be safe and, have a trip to the emergency room. Even if you do have health care, unlike, yeah, well, anyway. So that is Japanese Aralia. If you have any comments or questions about this lovely plant here, which, by the way, it does come in variegated forms, please put them in the comments section. Oh, as a weird thing I'm going to add, that right there is a leaf hopper on the leaf. See that little bright spot? Right there. And this is spittlebug snot on the stem there. I'm going to wipe that off after we're done filming. Anyway, as always, folks, keep them growing. The blog is updating. If you have any comments or thoughts about this plant, please put them in the comments section. And if you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching.